Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, all my fabulous friends. It is Friday morning, and you know what that means. This is Friday Friends. I'm Deb Burton, the Executive Director of RI Elder Info, and I come to you every Friday with a guest that is sharing information that you or someone you know needs to know about. So it's really important that you hit the like button and the share button. And today's topic is something that is more prevalent in Rhode Island than many other states. So it's really super important that you hit the share button to get today's information out to people, because we want to make sure that anyone in need gets the resources that are available to help them remain independent. So, as you all know, RI Elder Info is a 501c3 nonprofit. So it is your donations and the support of our sponsors that enable us to come on every week and bring you this information and bring you these guests. So I want to give a big thank you to Aetna and to United Health, to Oak Street Health, to Neighborhood Health. A big thank you to 321 Media. They are the ones who work behind the scenes here to make this look good. Or if you're listening to us on podcast, you know we are on podcast, right? You can find us on wherever you get your podcasts. That's through the magic of 321 Media. And you visited rielderinfo.com. That is through the work of England Studio. So we are really grateful for their support because we really couldn't do it without the support of our friends. So speaking of friends, I'd like to introduce today's Friday friend, Bill Patjan from the American Parkinson's Disease Association, and he's the regional director. Hi, Bill.
Hi, good morning, Deb. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on this frigidly cold Friday.
I know, right?
Yeah. So tell me, Parkinson's disease, is this something that is an issue that is happening more frequently? Is it getting diagnosed more frequently? Tell me about Parkinson's.
Yes, absolutely. So there was actually a recent study that was done to evaluate the prevalence of Parkinson's disease. And the information that the study provided was that originally the prevalence or the diagnosis of Parkinson's disease was around 60,000 individuals per year were diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. The recent study that was conducted looked at all of the diagnosis of PD, and what they came up with is that that number was underestimated or underpredicted. So now what we're seeing is that the number appears to be closer to 90,000 individuals per year are diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. So that's a significant increase in what we've previously experienced or thought. And one of the things that we've done here, not only in Rhode Island, but throughout the entire Northeast, is we've worked really hard to try and add as many programs and services to provide to those individuals that have been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease and all their caregivers and support group and friends. It's very important to understand that when somebody's diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, it's not only that individual that's affected, but it's the entire, family group. And that's really important.
And so is this increased prevalence, do they know why that is? Like, have they found a cause for Parkinson's? Is there a way to prevent Parkinson's? Is it hereditary?
Yeah, there are a lot of factors. And what we're seeing is that there's, I certainly don't want to alarm anybody to say that there's a increase in people getting Parkinson's disease. The study really looked at all of the sources related to reporting Parkinson's disease, and what they evaluated was that the disease was underreported. So people were getting diagnosed, but not the information wasn't getting to the right sources, and so there hasn't been a spike in the diagnosis of it. What was evaluated was that the information was underreported, and there are certainly many thoughts about what might be the cause and the causative factors for Parkinson's disease. There is a hereditary factor related to Parkinson's disease. There's an environmental factor involved in Parkinson's disease. What we've seen is that the diagnosis for PD happens much more frequently as people age. And so those are generally the most important or causative factors. There's really no way to prevent Parkinson's disease. One of the biggest challenges related to Parkinson's disease is a lot of times the symptoms or signs related to PD might be misinterpreted or not really paid attention to. And some of those things include, there are both motor and non-motor symptoms related to Parkinson's disease. So things such as sleep problems or constipation, anxiety, depression, fatigue. And then there are
you just described a lot of people post-COVID.
That's right. And that's part of the challenge. The other is that there are motor symptoms, right? So you might see tremor, you might see handwriting challenges, trouble moving or walking, rigidity, and things like that. So a lot of times those symptoms or signs have been associated with healthy aging, right? And so part of the challenge related to Parkinson's disease is a lot of times, those symptoms don't get really noticed, or an individual might not see the proper doctor in order to evaluate whether or not they have Parkinson's disease.
What are some of the things, maybe signs, that somebody should talk to their doctors about? Because I think a lot of times when people think of Parkinson's, they think of Michael J. Fox, where there's these big, wild, flailing movements. Is it something visibly dramatic like that? I mean, if you are having something so visibly dramatic, absolutely see your doctor, because who knows what's happening. But
Right.
Is it always something big, or can it be something like little, or a stiffness, a stillness? Could that be something to talk to your doctor about too?
Yeah, and the really important message is that everybody, it plays out differently with every individual. And so part of the challenge as it relates to, the question is, everybody has a different sort of symptom play out. And a lot of times, what we see is that it has to do with the motor component of it. So people have trouble walking or have falling issues. There might be a tremor that is quite widely seen in people with Parkinson's disease. Trouble sleeping, soft or low voice. One of the other characteristics of individuals with Parkinson's disease is small handwriting, and that's a specific thing called micrographia. So a person would have trouble writing in small versions. And the other symptom or sign that you see with individuals with Parkinson's disease is stooping or hunched over posture. And so those are the things that typically are a trigger for people to, want to talk to their doctor and go through the evaluation process.
And I can certainly see where those are characteristics that can also be attributed to the aging process. If you say, well, I have arthritis in my hand, so my handwriting is not good. I can attest that is something for me. Anybody who's ever received a note from me is like, wow, Deb, your handwriting's ain't not great. We understand why you type.
Right.
But I could see if it's getting tinier, like I could see if I had Parkinson's, it might not get picked up in my handwriting
Right.
because my handwriting is hard to begin with.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of way to um, slow the progression or make it easier, or certain programs that can help?
Yeah. So there have been a lot of important breakthroughs as it relates to managing Parkinson's disease. Right now, there's not a cure. And we're working as an organization to fund research to try and find a cure. But in the interim, one of the really important things that APDA does is APDA tries to help people live life to the fullest, once they've been diagnosed, and hopefully until we find a cure. And there have been significant breakthroughs as it relates to care within the individuals with Parkinson's disease. There have been medications that have been brought to market that can help individuals with, their symptoms. The way that PD works is there's a change in the brain, and so it's a neurological disorder, and it's related to a lack of a brain chemical called dopamine. And there are new medications out there that can help with that dopamine level in the brain. One of the really important things also that we've seen is that not only is the community integration important to find support, from others with Parkinson's disease and, clinical social workers, but also exercise has been shown to improve, the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. And in some studies that we've seen, can actually slow the progression of Parkinson's disease.
Wow.
So, the really important thing once an individual is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease is that there's a potential of falling, and the medications and activity helps with preventing somebody from having a fall that can cause more significant issues. And so one of the areas that we focus on throughout the entire state in Rhode Island is that we provide community grant programs and financial support programs for the community to take activity classes throughout the entire state.
That is awesome. Absolutely awesome. So Carrie Lynn had a question. Is there a specific test for this that we as patients should ask for to self-advocate?
Yeah, so there are and just to make sure that everybody knows along the continuum. The way that we've seen it play out is sometimes a general practitioner will do the diagnosis. Sometimes a neurologist who is a specialist will do the diagnosis, and then along that continuum, the individual doctor that has the most amount of specialty training is a movement disorder specialist. And there generally are two tests. One is a physical test, and the other is a DAT scan, which is an imaging scan. And so those are the two things. But it always starts with a evaluation to evaluate individuals, signs and symptoms. And what you want to do is at least get to the point where you're talking to your doctor and you start the dialogue. One of the important things is that a lot of the signs and symptoms related to Parkinson's disease can be other things, and so it's really important to talk to your doctor and go through the process of elimination.
That is awesome. So I think you have some slides to be able to explain what exactly does the American Parkinson's Disease Association do. Ben, can we pull those up? Because I think it's important that people understand that there's a group that supports this.
Yeah, good. So if you can move to the next slide, please. Good. So this is we're a volunteer organization in Rhode Island, and what we want to do is increase awareness of Parkinson's disease, support local PD initiatives. work closely with our information referral center that is located at Butler Hospital. And that is a toll-free number that you can call with questions to try and find the proper care for you in Rhode Island. And that care may be for individuals that are interested in talking to a doctor about potentially having Parkinson's disease, or once a diagnosis occurs, trying to get plugged into some of our complementary programs in the state. And we also do fundraising. In Rhode Island, we have a local board that is comprised of 10 volunteer community members that advocate for us in the state. Good, next slide.
And I can tell you, Lori Ann over there is just a wonderful human being to talk to.
Yes, absolutely. April is PD Awareness Month in Rhode Island. And so we've got a wide range of different activities in the state. And if you want more information about that, just go to our APDA of RI website. We also have two significant events in Rhode Island in the state. The first of which is in June 5th at Quonset Country Club in Rhode Island. It's our 15th annual golf tournament. It's a great event, and it's a beautiful course. The second event that we have is on our walk on Saturday, September 16th, and that's at Goddard State Park. And this has been a long-standing event for individuals in the Parkinson community. Last year, we had somewhere between 800 and 1,000 people there. It's a great community event. We have entertainment, we have food, and it really is all about bringing the Rhode Island PD community together. It's incredibly inspiring.
It is super inspiring. It is a super friendly, welcoming event. It's right at the carousel by the beach in Goddard Park. If you want to participate in the walk, it's an easy walk. If that's something that's not possible for you, just come out and enjoy the day, because it really is. This is a really fun event every fall. RA Elder Info has been really lucky to be able to participate in this. So yeah, that one, I know for a fact that one's awesome. I'll be checking out your one in June as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about the walk is as you can come as a fundraiser, you can come as a participant, you can get information. All of our staff and resources will be available. It's a really important event for us, and has been for a very long time.
Right. And you can come and receive that information without having to pay. So I think that's really important. Not to discourage the fundraising aspect. I don't mean to say that, but if you don't maybe have the financial resources to make donations, like, please come. There's a lot of really good information there.
Absolutely. Thank you. Next slide, please. Good. And I spoke a little bit about our information referral center. And this is a question that comes up quite a bit, is that, if I have questions about Parkinson's disease, or I've been recently diagnosed, what's the next step? And the next step from our perspective is you want to call our toll-free number. And that toll-free number is the Information Referral Center at Butler Hospital. The person that is the Information Referral Coordinator is Lori Ann Oliveria. What she helps with is she maintains that telephone hotline. She distributes information. We have a weekly newsletter that goes out. So if you want to be on our newsletter, just reach out. We've got educational programs. And right now, what we're really focused on is increasing our programs and services in the state. So right now, we have a very comprehensive support group network. So individuals that have Parkinson's disease can sign up for complimentary support groups. And those support groups generally meet once a month, and it's delivered by a trained individual related to helping build the bond between those individuals with Parkinson's disease and help exchange information and share experiences. And these days, coming out of COVID, we see our support group programs have been very, very popular. Almost every single support group is, very high with registration. And so if you want any information related to support groups, reach out to the INR Center or go to our website. We also have a very comprehensive offering of exercise programs. And as it relates to exercise, for those individuals with Parkinson's disease, number one, you want to have safe exercise. And number two, you want to make sure that the exercise is appropriate for the individual. I've been working with individuals with Parkinson's.
Looks like Bill might have froze for a minute. That's the beauty of having the wind out there, is it can take out your internet or your electricity at any given moment, even when you're live streaming. So who knew? It's good fun. I can tell you for certain that Lori Ann is absolutely amazing over there at the Movement Disorders Clinic. She is just a genuine human being who wants to help you. There are resources around the state that she can help you get connected with. I believe, and if Bill is able to reconnect, we'll double check just to be sure, but we can also call Lori and ask that they may have a one-time stipend to help cover the costs for an individual with Parkinson's to participate in. And when we talk about caregiver support groups, the benefit of a caregiver support group is sometimes different as to what a caregiver support group looks like. And so it's not only sharing your experience, but it's getting the information that really matters to you. So let's see if we can go through Bill's slides, even though Bill got knocked into the blue, I guess. Okay, there we go. Lorianne is usually busy, but she does get back to you, which is one of the things I really appreciate. They are working on creating more groups from around the state. They're connecting with more of the neurologists in Rhode Island in the surrounding area to make them more aware of the resources available over at Butler, but also available through the referral center. And they're trying to assess, what is needed in the community and what is wanted by the individuals. Because, sometimes we create these great programs because we think that that's what people want, and find out when we're in the community, that's not really the question. Next slide. Of course, you can reach them on social media. Aren't we all on social media? Of course we are. You're watching me here. So you can reach out to them there, and that's no problem. You can post questions, etc. there. I think that was his last slide. Oh, ta-da! Look at that. I didn't even peek at Bill's slides ahead of time, but yes, Mass and Rhode Island chapters do offer a financial support program, and the program is designed to provide financial support to people with Parkinson's disease and their families who are in need of financial assistance for programs, services, and/or activities. Approved applicants can be granted up to $400 in Rhode Island once per calendar year, so January to December, and funds are limited and will be awarded on a first-come, first-served basis. So if you have the ability to make a donation, it could be something that you donate specifically to help someone in this realm for those programs, so that someone with Parkinson's disease would be able to receive these funds from the American Parkinson's Disease Association to be able to participate in some of the great programs that are out there. And I think that was the last slide. Yeah, there we go. So when we think about caregiver support, you want to think about the humanity of what it means to be an individual with Parkinson's disease. In full disclosure, this is not exactly a state secret. I have a family member who has Parkinson's disease. So this really is near and dear to my heart. I had an individual, not my family member, ask me the question, I want to take my wife out on a date. We used to love going on date nights. But the problem is, I'm afraid that when I reach for my water and my hands are shaking, then I'm going to knock over my water and embarrass her. And I don't want to embarrass her. And so I don't suggest that we go out on our date nights anymore. In a support group, you have other people who have experienced that and have suggestions. For example, instead of a date night, maybe you make it a date lunch if it's better for you for your movements at lunchtime. Maybe time your medications to a point that the tremors are under control. And have a conversation with your spouse, have a conversation with your care partner, and let them know how you're feeling. Because let's face it, people who have Parkinson's, you can knock over your water, but other people knock over their water too. So that is not particularly unique, but I could understand how that person felt trying to go out on their date night like they always had to be concerned. Hey, hi, Bill. How are you?
I am sorry we lost power.
Yeah, no, I totally understand with the wind going on out there. I did go through your slides and I was just sharing the importance of getting connected to the caregiver supports that are out there, and the fact that APTA does have the $400 a year to help individuals get connected. The one thing I wasn't sure of is it for those individuals to get connected to programs, or could that $400 be used to um, maybe get grab bars installed or something like that?
That's a great question. What we've done is we've adjusted the financial support program to allow the individual with Parkinson's disease to use it however they'd like it to be used. And everybody has different needs. Some individuals will use it for exercise. Some individuals will use it for, a modification at home. Some individuals will use it, to help around the house. One of the really big, important challenges.
Hey, I bet he just got hit with another wind gust. It is mighty wind going on out there. So I totally understand how he is cutting in and out. And I really appreciate Bill's efforts because this weather is awful. But I don't think I should keep torturing Bill to try to come back on, because I understand how frustrating that can be when you're doing an interview with somebody and it cuts off. And then when you're the guest, it makes you all nervous. And I don't want Bill to feel that way. So it's important that people understand that there is help available out there. Reach out to Lori Ann. She is a real human being and she is happy to get back to you. That $400 is something that could help you use different services. It could help you with home modifications. It can help you maybe join one of the classes for exercise, for bicycling, for boxing. There are a lot of different options out there. And I think it's really important that you reach out to find what works best for you and for your family, because that's what we all want, right? What we feel is best for us. So the American Parkinson's Disease Association, the Rhode Island chapter, is awesome. If you're watching from another state, every state has one. Reach out. If you can't find it, email me and I will find it in your state for you, because this is something that is really, really important. So I'm going to let Bill go. I know he's trying to get back in, but that's okay. And I wanted to tell you all, we are experiencing some of the coldest weather today and tomorrow than we have had in years. The wind is blowing like crazy. If you are using a space heater, please make sure that it is clear all the way around it so that you don't catch anything on fire. If you are worried about your heating bill, today is not the day to worry about keeping your temperature, your thermostat down low. You want to make sure that you're going to stay safe in the cold today. And if you find that you need help covering your utility bills because of this cold weather, please refer back to the Friday Friends from October 28th, where we talked about the LIHEAP program. It helps cover the cost of utility bills. It's an assistance program for eligible folks here in the state. I want you all to stay safe in this cold, cold weather. This is as dangerous as it was in the heat over the summer when we had the heat wave. So be safe, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all again next week. In the meantime, be well and be kind.
If you liked this video, please follow us on social media and subscribe on YouTube. For more information, visit rielderinfo.com or call 401-585-0509. If you have any questions, email deb@rielderinfo.com.